I want to talk about 9/23/2017 at 9:23. I got an email from Bix, and he was copying me and Cliff High on that, which is kind of typical. We all chat through email. It's usually we copy each other. But you know, he lives in California and knows all about those fires, of course, that are happening now. If you'll recall, and I don't remember if this was in the Webbot, the last Alta report, or if Cliff was talking about this in the video where we did the basically the last Three Amigos video we did on my channel. I don't remember, but I know it was either one of those two sources, unless it was before that. I'm trying to think, was it? Nah, it had to be one of those two. And he was talking about, you know, how the fires in Canada and all that stuff. He said, you know, we're going to be seeing more of that, more of the fire stuff's coming. And lo and behold, California, city of fires. Bix Weir says, dude, 17 fires started between, I forgot the time he gave, but like last night, you know, whatever it was like, you know, between midnight and 2 a.m., whatever it was. He says 17, these are separate fires. He said that. I haven't really looked into this. I'm not saying he's lying, obviously, but I'm just repeating what he said to me. Even if it's off a little bit, whatever. Bottom line is, are these fires, right, these fires, just, you know, coincidence? Now, another thing, Cliff High's Webbot report again, when he was talking about the fire stuff, right? Which again, I could have swore he may have also mentioned in the Three Amigos video, but I remember reading it too, where he said, at least the data, his interpretation is that these, you know, chemtrails and stuff, I guess there's little tiny, you know, I don't know the size of the particles, you know, but they're extremely tiny, and you know, whether it's a piece of the aluminum and this one, that one, you know, ultimately it comes back down to earth. And he said that that would be wreaking havoc with some fires that would be coming, and would actually almost like, kind of like fuel the fire, so to speak. His data was suggesting it was this stuff from the chemtrails. No idea if that's really what it is, whatever. I'm just going to throw that out there because that's what essentially it said. The report said, the data. So that's interesting, and we have these fires sparking up and just, holy crap, you know, just running through. Winds coming up 40, 50, 60 mile an hour. Some even up to near around 80 mile an hour gusts, pushing these fires. You know, a dozen people dead or so far. But 9/23, right? The date 9/23. And people were like, no, but it's not just 9/23, Joe. It's the 7 days after that too. I'm not even sure what that's about, but up to 9/30, 9/23 to 9/30. Then we have October 1st. Well, that night, 9/30, whatever, October 1st, we had the incredible Las Vegas shooting. Again, real, fake. I know there's crisis actors. I've already spotted a few that have seen another one, so I know that much that's happening. But again, whether it was real, it was fake. Now, I'm reading some things today, Wednesday, and I kind of had this in the back of my mind. I haven't really said anything yet because, you know, I don't want to speculate too far out of whack. You know what I mean? But let's assume, you know, what the mainstream's telling us, it was a real event, whatever. I keep hearing there's no chance, not a chance in hell it was one shooter. There had to be more. There are people on the ground saying, look, I saw people shooting on the ground. There's the one interview of the girl and the young lady and the guy where they're running to the back of the parking lot on the ground and someone was shooting there, right? So there was multiple reports anyways from alleged eyewitnesses that there were multiple shooters. So let's just say for a second, and this is where I was going to say, I didn't want to speculate too far out, but let's just say, and this is going to be hard for me to really believe, but again, it's a possibility, so I'm just going to throw it out there. This was actually a terrorist event. Numerous terrorists, ISIS, whatever you want to call it, right? Whatever, terrorists are more, you know, they did this. But our government refuses to say that because then it would acknowledge that we've now had a terror event on our soil and it was a coordinated attack with numerous guys involved. So we don't want to tell the whole country that happened. We're just going to blame it on a lone gunman nonsense, make up some stuff, even though a real terrorist event happened. Because then you're going to have people absolutely freaking out. These people, are we going to have to get rid of all Muslims? Are we going to do this? You know, it's going to get out of control. So let's just stick to the lone gunman. It's all fake. It's all nonsense. But a real event happened, and it was a bunch of terrorists. Right? I'm just going to throw that out there as a slight possibility. That just so happens to be right after this 9/23 date. We also had, around the 9/23 date, 2 major hurricanes come through. We had Texas hit, Florida got nailed, not nearly as bad. Puerto Rico, as you know, absolutely devastated. Some of the islands, of course, Caribbean, destroyed 90%, you know, just unbelievable. Then we had the 2 earthquakes. Mexico, big solar flare pops off. Now, granted, I'm not trying to say, oh, it was a terrorist did a solar flare or the government did. No. I'm just saying, isn't it absolutely freaking crazy that all of this stuff is happening within days of this specific date that they were throwing in our faces in the movies? And now we've got a fire that, again, back to the terror thing. What if these were set by arsonists, right? Arson. And again, it's a terror attack, so to speak. Because I'm pretty sure I heard ISIS tell its followers, you know, start setting fires and do this and do that, right? But again, we can't acknowledge that it's not what it was. We're going to call it a normal, whatever, wildfire. Someone threw a cigarette out 17 times in different places, and they all started a fire. They don't dare tell you that it was a terror event, right? I'm just speculating. I am just speculating. But Biggs thought it was highly, improbable that 17 just sparked up. Oh yeah, one fed the other. No. So again, all around this date, can someone share with me, if you happen to know, another time in the history, maybe of the freaking world, I don't know, where this many things from the earthquake stuff. We also had a volcano or 2 go off. They had to evacuate 30,000 people. I forget which island that was. Not these ones I'm talking about. We had that happen the other day. So volcanoes going off, earthquakes going off, fires out of control, terror events. I mean, holy crap. Like I said, talk about an exciting time to be around. And there's probably some other ones you're like, oh, Joe, what about that one, that one, and that one? I'm probably missing right now. You're absolutely right, so I'll give you credit now because I know there's going to be some. I know there will be. You got, not that this is huge like those, but, Catalonia, Spain, they're declaring independence essentially. Well, we're going to wait 5 days before, we're going to try to open up talks with Spain, whatever. You have all this crap happening that's pretty, each event's a notable event in and of itself. Each of these things I've just mentioned, including the Catalonia thing, it's a notable event. But when all this stuff is happening at the same flipping time, practically, give or take a total of 3 weeks, something like that, 3-4 weeks. I know the storms are here a little earlier, the hurricanes, but is this not insane? So I'm just looking at all this stuff, saying, "Holy crap!" Literally, holy crap! I left a little. I had an interview lined up tonight. And it was going to be with Etch, as I told you the other day. I did my little review thing, whatever you want to call it, talking about Etch, get rid of the payday loans, all that crap. People, you got a phone app, specific phone app. They're gonna, here you go, you get paid immediately. As soon as you start working today, you're getting paid. You were here for 4 hours, you get paid for 4 hours. Today, done. It's on your phone. Have a nice day. That kind of thing. It's a cool idea. So I really liked it. Anyways, I was telling you I was gonna try to see if I can get them on for a little interview, and it was set up for tonight, being Wednesday, and they emailed me a couple hours ago. Hey, can we set this back one day? No problem. No problemo. So that's coming out in basically tomorrow, another day. And it'll be interesting to have them on so they can tell you maybe some more examples of how it can be used and some, that sort of thing. I gave kind of this, the summary, if you will. I don't spend any huge, I'm not talking for 30 minutes, an hour on one ICO and the massive, taking this, in-depth white paper explaining all these super technical things. I don't think you guys would want me to go that far anyways. You're pretty much saying, Joe, do you think this thing sounds reasonable? Like there's some potential here? That's what I'm pretty sure most people are going to say. Then yeah, maybe we do too. And kind of like the stuff I report on, the news stuff. I pick things that I think you guys would want to hear about or know about. Sure, I may not get everything, what you want to hear only, but generally, that's what I do. And why waste someone's time? Time is money. I talk freaking long enough as it is, and just kind of get to the point, sort of a thing. But there's a few ICOs coming out. I had another one ask me about, mentioning there, can you do a review on our ICO or whatever? And I just started looking at it, but it's kind of like a peer-to-peer. Remember the old days of like LimeWire or a BitTorrent, where essentially stuff is on thousands or millions potentially of people's computers, like the old days of LimeWire, where everything was a peer-to-peer thing. So it's not like there's one centralized server, one centralized data center, or even sub-centers, if you will, or nodes, other data centers or clusters of servers and that sort of thing, where they own it all. And peer-to-peer is literally peer-to-peer. It's like a mesh network where, almost, matter of fact, like blockchain, where you have all these different nodes. If one node goes down, nothing happens. There's a ton of other nodes that have all the transactions logged and can be used for current transactions too, right? Nothing changes. That's what peer-to-peer was, which again is like kind of old news. Like, oh yeah, LimeWire and Napster. Remember those days? So they're kind of taking that approach on the blockchain, but movies, videos uploads. And I'm like, ooh, wait a minute. Now that could be interesting. Video uploads. Basically, we're seeing all this massive trouble with YouTube. Bad mark on your account. Bad mark on your account. We don't want you talking about that. Ban that guy's account. By the way, there have been numerous channels banned by YouTube. Banned by YouTube over the whole Las Vegas thing. Just for reporting stuff, right? So people are starting to say we've effing had enough, but we need a good platform to go to, is what they're saying. I don't know that this will be it, because again, videos take up a lot of space. Back in the day, Napster, MP3 songs, 2 megabytes, 3 megabytes, 4 megabytes. A video, even compressed properly, whatever, like one of mine, for example, even compressed, 300 megabytes, 15-minute video or so, 300 megabytes. Okay, but that's a whole lot of MP3s if you had, that one can store on their computer. But that's one video. So the whole peer-to-peer thing, but again, when you have a ton of people, millions, it's really not that big of a deal. You could allocate 10% of your hard drive for this kind of activity, whatever. Maybe you can set it. But I'm kind of looking into it. I don't want to mention which one it is just yet. Kind of looking into it to see if it's really worthy. I may end up talking about that over the next week or so. Just again, YouTube and the liberalism is it's just terrible. It is so terrible. And I just watched a video, undercover again, Charles, what's his name? Veritas updates or whatever. Had a guy, I guess, from YouTube, and I think it was from YouTube, and pretty much describes how they have kind of this hidden access to push any mainstream news they want. And he even mentions Alex Jones by name and says, yeah, if someone was like, for example, if someone's searching, for something newsworthy or whatever, they'll see ours, basically the mainstream. But for example, if they were searching for that, but they were searching for Alex Jones, well, it wouldn't be up there, but if they scroll down, they'll find him. But then again, they were looking for him anyway, so whatever. So he's essentially saying they control mainstream news in your face only. Anything you search for, it has to come from a authority source, and the authority source is what they consider mainstream media. So YouTube is going to be finding itself with its liberal policies, Google YouTube, as a one-time king, one-time champion. Do no evil, Google, as their motto. They love to throw that motto around. And they're continuously caught doing evil. And I can't believe I just heard that, saw it on video, listened to the conversation myself. And it's in the guy's videotaped. You see his face. They named the guy, and he's there talking at dinner. So now you can see why other avenues are kind of popping up for video and that sort of thing. And I know there's DTube, which is part of the Steemit platform, kind of a thing, but it's not real good right now. And I think they got, like I mentioned the other day, they need maybe some bandwidth or server issues. It's just super slow trying to upload stuff, and maybe they'll get their act together, and that'll be a good platform. I really don't know, but you can start to see them coming out now. We see a hole that needs to be, a gap that needs to be filled. YouTube is going the wrong way according to society, and we're here to scoop up what they're doing wrong, you know. But again, YouTube's a giant. I just wish they didn't do this political, liberal, this is liberal stuff. Liberals do this kind of thing. And none of us need that in our lives. Anyways, take care.